Hello, welcome to Monday. I hope everybody's week is getting off to a really good start. It's brightening up down here. It was really kind of grey, misty, foggy this morning down on the farm, and actually the sun has broken through, dried off all the dew, and it's looking like it's going to be a beautiful day, lovely week even. So let's get our friends joining on Facebook and YouTube, shall we? Hi everybody, hi Louise, hi Roxy, dog of my life, Carol, Elizabeth, lovely. Silver Driver, hi, nice to see you. Nikki, so many. Let's see if I can get Facebook clicked in. Oh, it says rotate your phone. Why have I got to rotate my phone? Live. There we go. Hello Facebook. I hope this is working. Please let me know. Please send me some waves or something, because it's always, I'm standing here kind of on my own in the kitchen, so I hope it's working. I should, all being well, have Amy with me today. She's going to be manning Facebook. As usual, all the links and everything will be put on there to everything I talk about. If you're new to Instagram, hello and welcome. Nice to have your company. So this is, I can't obviously link on Instagram. So what I do is I go into something called Linktree. If you click the link in my bio on Instagram, you'll see this little blue line of letters. It says Linktree. And if you click on that, then you'll find all sorts of treasures and all the things that I'm talking about today. Hello, yes, you're with me on Facebook. Very nice to have your company. And YouTube, of course. It will get loaded up to YouTube later on. It's always a good place. I know a lot of people watch on Catch Up, so you are very welcome to my kitchen this sunny morning. So I was out first thing this morning collecting some apples, because the trees are just full of apples at the moment, and lots of windfalls. And some of the windfalls, you know, the mice get there before I do. So it's kind of thinking what to do with them. And of course, one of the best things is juicing. So I have got my juicer going. Now, I'm often asked what kind of juicers are best, because I've written books about juicing and I've been juicing for a long time. And it's kind of one of those things, I don't do it all the time, if I'm really honest. I go through phases. But actually, I think as we step into a new season, we've got a lot more produce around us that we can be juicing. And of course, juice freezes really well. So if you've got particularly plastic cartons, so old plastic milk cartons or juice cartons, old bottles, plastic bottles, they're also really good, or freezer bags, that kind of thing. So you can make extra juice. If you kind of get into the habit of just doing a batch, and it just makes it so much easier. That's what I was doing yesterday. I made, actually, this was one of my brews. Look at that. Doesn't that look so beautiful? It looks like kind of a bottle of sunshine and goodness. Slightly cloudy. I did actually strain it just to get rid of a little bit of the bits. But this is magic stuff. So this is apples from my tree, and I've already had a couple of questions I saw on my Instagram saying, what variety of apple do you have? Well, I have lots of different ones. So I've got Braeburn, and I've also got one called Scarlet Pimpernel, which has not the biggest apples. They are small, but they're bright red, as their name suggests, and they're incredibly tasty. So I just mix. I mix whatever. Sometimes I'll even pop a cooking apple or something into here as well. I don't do that for the whole juice because it's a bit more of a sharper tang. But anyway, this is, I would say, probably 2/3 apple and lemon. And I just put a whole lemon in, just like this. You don't need to squeeze it, the whole thing. You just shove it in. I also put in some ginger. It's my ginger root. I was in my local village shop. Okay, so this is wellness for you. I was in my local village shop, and I saw these beauties. Yes, this is turmeric root. So I thought, great, I'll have some of that. So I bought a handful of these and I popped these into here. And what else did I put in? I'm sure I had something else. I think I had a little bit of leftover fennel. So I popped that in as well. But, you know, these things are not prescriptive. You can just add what you like. And I thought I would make just a little bit more. I've got a big shoot happening here on Wednesday. I'm going to be taking some more cover pictures for my magazine. So fingers crossed that goes really well. So I've got just a few people coming down. Obviously, we have to be very careful, even when you're working, numbers of people. So it's going to be quite restricted, so quite limited. And we're going to take lots of lovely pictures, hopefully outdoors. And guess who is coming to join me? And this is going to be a treat for all of us, hopefully on Wednesday. Kerry September, my lovely hair and makeup artist friend, who I haven't seen, I don't actually think I've seen her in real life this year. So obviously she joined me for an Instagram and Facebook Live a month or so ago. And it's always tricky, isn't it? Because technology doesn't quite work. And obviously on Facebook, even if I split the screen on Instagram, you can't actually see the person I'm talking to. Anyway, all being well, on Wednesday, what I thought we'd do is she's coming down, obviously, to get me ready for the shoot. So I thought, great, let's share that. So she's going to be making me up, or she might have done kind of most of my makeup, but she's also the one who taught me how to do that twisty thing with my hair. So she's going to be showing us, hopefully, hope you're watching, Keza, because this is what's going to happen on Wednesday. And it means that we can be together. I'm sure she'll be all kind of all visored and masked up and everything, but at least we will be together and we'll be able to share a little bit of behind the scenes. So that should be really fun. So that's what's going to happen on Wednesday. And then Wednesday afternoon, we're going to crack on with the shoot. So that will be quite fun, won't it? Actually, it just reminds me, talking about my hair, I'm booked in tomorrow to go and get all my colour done, to get my roots done. Don't look too closely. I had to hide it with a bit of dry shampoo and a bit of Colour Wow and a bit of Josh Wood stick, you know, that lovely stick that disguises the roots. So hopefully come Wednesday, it'll all be looking wonderful and glossy. Anyway, so that's why I was doing some batch cooking, getting the cacao and the nutty chocolate almond slices going. Hope you got your recipe. That was the recipe that was in last week's newsletter that should have hit your inboxes on Friday. So I hope any of you made that. Do take a pic and tag me. So I've got a load of that in the fridge, and I was just kind of doing lots of bits and pieces, getting ready to having a few people that I need to feed and look after. So I'm going to make just a little bit more juice. Coming back to the juicers that I use. So this is the one that I've found works really well. It's a sage juicer. I'm not employed by Sage, they don't give me any money for this at all, but I have tried lots of different ones, and you know, you can buy whichever you like, but there's always this big discussion about should it be cold pressed, should it be a high speed mechanical juice, and actually the Sage juicers are quite high speed, so they work very quickly to extract all the nutrients. And there is a school of thought that says that if you have a really good high quality juicer, not necessarily the slower cold pressed ones, then you just extract more of the goodness because they're more powerful. And I'll show you how powerful this one is, because I have behind me, excuse me, there's a few of them on the floor. These are just some of the apples that I picked this morning. Now I have given them a bit of a wash and sorted through, but the great thing about juicing is, oh, that one's got a little hole in it there, but it doesn't really matter because I checked there's no inhabitants. You don't even have to take the stalks off, you know, the whole thing goes in. And it's a really good way of using up, I mean, for example, this one, you know, somebody's had a little feast in there, but I've washed it, it's clean, and that's just going to be popped into my juice. So I am going to put in here, I'm going to use quite a generous chunk of ginger. I'm going to use that much because ginger, it's antibacterial, it's just a really good autumn seasonal tonic, and I like to just add it to juices. I'm actually just going to put this whole lemon in. I'm not even going to bother to trim it or cut it. And I'm going to use a bit of turmeric as well. So excuse me for the noise. This is set onto speed 5, so it will be a little bit noisy, but I'll do it really quickly. And just to say, I did check and see a load of places are out of stock of juicers. I think with lockdown, everybody thought, great, let's get juicing. And you know, try and support our immune system and all of those things, as well as perhaps having a bit more time at home. So, but I have found a stockist for this one, so I popped it. I think Amy, you might have a link for Facebook, and I have popped it onto my link tree as well. So let me just check that I've got this set up in the right way. I don't think Instagram you can see. Maybe I can just move that a little bit nearer to me. You can probably just see the edge of it. I know Facebook you get a better view these days because I do it in landscape. Where are we? Yeah, that's the right way around. Okay, so here goes. Just make sure I've got my jug positioned, otherwise it'll come out all over the floor. Right, there we go. Bit of noise. So literally the whole apple just going. Whole lemon goes in. Ginger, turmeric, a bit more apple. Going 2 more apples. Amazing colour, turmeric. Turn that off. There we go. Oops. Oh dear, it's all flying about this morning. This afternoon rather. Always feels like the morning because I spend the morning rushing around. Right, so that has turned into this. So easy, so quick. And then what I do is I just pour that into a separate bottle. I just leave the froth behind. If you want to, you can put it through a sieve because there are little tiny fibrous bits. But of course, that's the fibre, isn't it? That's the prebiotic fibre that we know is so good for us and gives us an extra bit of a gut health boost. I do try and not keep my juices too sweet. So apples aren't too bad, especially if you're using your cooking apple in the mix. But I try not to use too many of the high sugar fruits. So, you know, just be careful, always balance it with a little bit of veggie matter. Normally I will actually add a little bit of green. I haven't done that today, but normally that's the kind of thing that I would add, just so you're not getting it too sweet. And for my children, I do dilute it. I usually have it like 50-50. So let's see if I can, you know, just keep some of the froth behind there. Look at that. That is great, isn't it? Lovely. Oh, that's tangy. I put loads of ginger in that compared to the apple. And actually what you should do really, if you're working with turmeric, is turmeric does need something called curcumin from black pepper, just to increase its bioavailability, and ideally in a little bit of oil. So what I'm going to do for my juice here is I'm going to take a little bit of olive oil. I'm just going to pop that in a jar. Don't need to use too much. And I'm going to do a generous amount. You could use cayenne pepper or black pepper. Black pepper I think probably has more of the compounds that we're looking for. So I'm going to pop that in there, give that a bit of a shake up, and then I'm going to add that to my main juice here. So there we go. And then obviously that's sitting on the top there because it's oil, so I would just give that a nice good shake just to try and emulsify that a little bit. And there you go, healthy, healthy juice. Now that actually reminded me, of course, that we do still have a Liz Loves code with the Healthy Juice Company. So if you can't be fagged to do your own juices, or you know, don't have a juicer or don't have time or whatever, then the Healthy Juice Company are amazing. I've worked with them now for the last couple of years, actually collaborating on various juices. You might remember my box I did last year of juices, and then this year we introduced the shot box, and that does have actually something called Golden Shot, which is similar to this, not quite the same, but very similar. And it has a green juice and it has a cinnamon almond chia, which is amazing. And it comes with a high strength probiotic and a high strength vitamin C, liposomal vitamin C. So I'm going to get one of those boxes actually ordered in, and I'll probably show that to you on Friday, just in case you want to order it. But just to say that Healthy Juice Company, they have amazing juices, and there is of course 10% off everything with Liz Loves. That's the offer code, all in capital, Liz Loves. And then you can also separately get the shot box, which we're keeping going because we did it at the beginning of the summer. We did it, and then obviously lots of people wanting to support their immune system or perhaps convalescing, recovering from whatever, just found it really useful. So I thought, yeah, okay, we'll carry on with doing that. So thank you very much to Rosie and the team for continuing to make that. Now, actually talking about the immune system and stepping into a new season and kids going back to school, everybody's very concerned. What's going to happen? We've got new social distancing measures coming into effect today. Only 6 people socially allowed to get together. And I was actually quite busy on Twitter. This is not a place where I normally hang out. You don't normally find me on Twitter. But there are a couple of really interesting people who are posting interesting data and interesting research, and so I thought I would just throw it out there and share it with you. You can go and take a look and make your own mind up. There's an academic and researcher based in Dublin called Ivor Cummins, otherwise known as the Fat Emperor, and I started following him probably a couple of years ago because he's very into high fat, low carb and similar things that I've been talking actually with Dr. Asim Malhotra about, and the impact on type 2 diabetes, etc. Anyway, he's an interesting guy to follow. And he put up something yesterday, which is also on YouTube, and it's really fascinating. It's about COVID statistics and seasonal flu, and I think maybe it's about 25 minutes long. I watched it last night, and I thought I'm just going to watch the first couple of minutes because it was showing some graphs and the effects of various things, lockdown and masks and all of this. and what's happening in Europe and what we can expect in the months ahead with, flu variations coming in anyway. And oh boy, it's fascinating. So if you've got a moment, I highly recommend it. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys are on Twitter. I tend not to be on there very much because, as I've mentioned before, it's very shouty and I don't find it a particular safe space. It's not like our lovely wellbeing communities here. But there are some interesting people I follow. Professor Carol Sikora, for example, he always has a very interesting take on what's going on, and obviously is very concerned about all the cancer cases that are being really sidelined at the moment. And I've got a friend who's really struggling to get paediatric cancer care for her daughter at the moment. And so, this is a very live issue. So anyway, if you are on Twitter or you have access to it, you can find me. I'm Liz Earle, me. And you can see some of the things that I've reposted. Love to have your company there. It's always nice to get a friendly heart or something on Twitter because it's kind of a different space. But even if you're not, you can find Ivor Cummins. And I'm not sure whether he's on as Ivor Cummins or the Fat Emperor, but I'm sure if you look up both on YouTube, you will find him. And I think he published this on the 8th of September, and it's a review of data. And it's well worth a watch, actually. It really is good. So I just thought I'd mention that. So those are a couple of things that I was doing this morning. What else do I want to talk to you about today? Oh yes, I want to talk about lovely flowers. So I love working in the world of wellbeing because you can move from so many things. So many things are actually all about living well, aren't they? They're about physical health, mental health, things that we eat, things that we do, our fitness. That's why I'm actually still in my fitness gear. It's been a busy day. It's not even lunchtime on Monday. It's been busy. So, I thought I'd keep this on, partly because I love it. It's one of my favourite tops. This is Askwith London. Great female founder-led British brand. I've worn it a lot. You guys know it. We've got the Liz Loves offer code that continues 15% off everything. Even your second order. I know a lot of companies just say they'll give you a discount on the first order, but Askwith, if you've ordered from them before, they keep the offer code going for us. What I like, you may have seen as I turn around. Can I turn my back to you? Do you mind? Just to show you. I love this. I think it's called Conqueror Cami. Yes, we're going to be strong, aren't we? I'm wearing my eucalyptus necklace. Yes. And I put that on as a badge of strength because eucalyptus is a symbol of resilience and tenacity and fortitude and all those things that we need in bagfuls at the moment. So that's my kind of reminder, my charm that sits on my skin at the moment. I make all my jewellery in fair trade gold, so they've obviously got a nice history behind them as well. But anyway, back to clothes. So this is the Conqueror Cami. I think actually they call it beetroot is the colour. So appropriate for juicing. Hey, so carefully planned. And then these, I don't know whether you can see, they're matching leggings. Really comfy to wear. You could wear these, well, as I'm doing most of today, and look reasonably respectable, or do the school run later, whatever. But actually you can also use them for Pilates or yoga or whatever. And of course they have lovely pockets because we do like things with pockets. They're really just comfy. Good quality. I think this is probably my third or fourth Conqueror Cami. I've had them for years and they wash really well. They wear really well. So big hearts to Askwith. If I do it on there against it, you can see, can't you? Big hearts. We love you, Alice and team. So thank you for staying with us and for giving us all those nice discounts. Talking of discounts, actually, this, by the way, I should mention, is the current offer, 50% off. So if you've got your magazine, have I got my, here we go. Here's my magazine. You may have seen this. If you've already got this, then you will notice on the first page. There you go. That's the 50% offer. It tells you all about it if you've got that. And the code, if you want to look it up, is EUC, as in eucalyptus, EUC, EUC 50. And that takes it from £180, because it's 24 carat rose or yellow gold vermeil, which is the thick coating over sterling silver. And it takes it from £180 down to £90, and that is until the 31st of October. So there you go, just mention that in passing. Flowers. Now you may have seen on my Instagram over the weekend, I posted, ta-da, these. Can you see these? You can't see them, can you, on Instagram? Let me move them across. There we go. Aren't they just so lovely? And this is a new-ish floral discovery for me. It's called the Fresh Flower Company, and they are in London. They work a lot with British farmers and growers, which is close to my heart, obviously, because I am a British farmer and grower. And they use a lot of seasonal flowers. They use flowers that smell, and actually it's just walking past. Oh, nearly tripped over an apple. Excuse me. You might do, would it go flying? So we've got roses in here. We've got sort of grass seeds, just lovely things. Eucalyptus, actually that's appropriate, isn't it? Eucalyptus, again, it's so carefully planned. And actually what I did plan to show you was these beauties, because I absolutely love hydrangeas. And hydrangeas are great at the moment. Again, look, the colour, as I say, it's not just thrown together. You think it's thrown together. One day I will be able to plan it all beautifully, and we'll do it, immaculately anyhow. But look, isn't that an amazing colour? It's almost like a large sort of blackberry, which we've also got in the hedgerows at the moment. And one of the things that is really great about hydrangeas, they are incredibly good value because they last and last and last. And even when they begin to die over, like you can see here, these leaves are just beginning to crinkle, is you can dry them. And the best way to dry them is just to trim them and pop them in a vase or glass or something with no water, okay? Just let them desiccate, just let them dry out in the air. And then you can keep them, they keep their colour really well. Or what I like to do, particularly for Christmas time, and I'm definitely going to be keeping these beauties, is you can then spray them with bronze, silver, gold, spray paint. You could sprinkle a little bit of glitter on. And then you've got beautiful, natural, botanical decorations. So without having to go and buy, plastic stuff. And you can make garlands with them. Yes, you can. And I was actually reminded of this in my yearbook. So this is yearbook 2. Many of you will, I know, have that now. And yearbook 2, if you turn to the autumn section, because these books are divided into seasons. So I'm loving getting into the autumn section. Are you enjoying the autumn section? So the autumn section starts here. Where's that on a page 125 or so. So each season has its own section with recipes for breakfast, lunches, suppers, snacks and treats. Obviously, got to have snacks, got to have treats. How to look well and how to live well. And then as part of the live well section, we've got lots of ideas always on seasonal things that you can do to bring nature into the home. And this is a whole spread on dry your own hydrangeas. Yeah. So this talks about some of the things that you can do with them, and I'll just show you that illustration because there's some lovely ideas here. Obviously you can cut them right down and put them in little containers, arrange them all together in a group, which I think always looks nice. When you're arranging groups, it's like flowers, always go for an odd number. So 3 flower heads, 5 roses, whatever. It's always the odd numbers that work best in an arrangement. Or you can thread them, as I've done on here, onto ribbon and use them as garlands. This was an idea actually just for a chair back. This was actually done for a Harvest Festival supper a while ago. But, you could use them hopefully for when we are allowed to gather, to have weddings or whatever, or maybe even for Christmas. Can you imagine? You could make a table runner out of that and you could spray them and put some glitter on and have that just as a centrepiece running down the table. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. So, yeah, it says here the best time to pick them is between August and October. So, absolutely perfect for now, and it tells you how to do them and what you can do with them as well. And I've got hydrangeas, you may have seen sometimes when I'm in my studios in London, you may see in the background beautiful big sort of greeny white hydrangeas, so pretty, and they've been there for a year or two. I mean, the only thing you have to remember to do is dust them, because they're just lovely. They just give that beautiful shape. Really good value when it comes to flowers. So talking about good value, actually another reason why I wanted to mention the Real Flower Company is that we have just started a Liz Loves with them. So 10% gets you, Liz Loves as the offer code, all in capitals, gets you 10% off any order. And they'll send flowers, they send them all over the UK. I was really impressed. I'm very fortunate working in this world. I do often get sent flowers or I get to try things, and I have to say they arrived beautifully packed, super fresh, really highly recommended, and I would have no hesitation in using them as a flower service. And I just like their whole ethos. When you have a look at their website, they've just got some really lovely things. So I think, Amy, you can pop a link maybe on Facebook, and I'll make sure that there is a link somewhere on my Instagram. But you don't really need it. It's the Fresh Flower Company based in London, and they've got a website. And as I say, Liz Loves gets you 10% off. And I think I might actually see if I can get more of these particular purple ones from them, because they are so good. So I am going to leave that down there and just answer a few questions just before I leave you. Oh my goodness. Where are we saying here? So Nikki Bryant, hi Nikki. Can we freeze juice? Yes. Were you not here at the beginning? You must have been late into class, because that was absolutely the first thing that I said. Juice freezes really well. And actually what I like to do is, if you've got things like lots of ginger, sometimes you see it on special offer, so you might want to just grab a whole load of it. You freeze it in little ice cube trays, and then you can just pop that in, because sometimes it's a faff, isn't it, to try and remember everything. And similarly, if you want to use something like kale, which is really strong and quite bitter in its taste, you don't want a lot of it in a juice, you just want a little hint. So any of those things will actually freeze really well. And you can just, fill freezer bags with ice cubes full, freeze them in ice trays to start with, then tip them out into your freezer bag, and then you've got bags of different ice cubes. You can use that to flavour drinks as well, so you can pop them into flavoured waters. You could freeze a whole load of fresh lemon and ginger, for example, and just pop an ice cube of that into a glass of sparkling water or just a glass of plain water, and there you go. You've got a fresh instant drink. Pop in your turmeric and your curcumin, your black pepper here. Oh, wow, that is the powerful one. That is a lot of ginger in that. Hopefully it's going to help keep the bugs at bay. Now I have just realised that I'm sideways on. I don't know why it doesn't turn round. How about that? How about that? I'm so sorry. Apologies for being sideways on Facebook. Oh dear. As I say, one day I will get this right. Is that better? I'm very sorry to be sideways. That is better now. Oh, it is better? Yes? Are we better? Is it dying down to Brink's birthday today? It's still wrong, says Victoria. I don't know why it's wrong. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip you that way. I think it's because I'm live and it won't let me change it while I'm live. How about that? Oh, I turned it too far. How about that? No. I've turned it 3 times now. Oh, Linda, I'm sorry. Pippa. Very sorry. What can I do? Start the whole thing again? No, you can't do that because it's live. I'm now sideways the other way. Oh dear. Even Amy, look, she said no with an exclamation mark. That means she's really cross. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. That's it. I've got it now. Okay, so I'm sorry. I've had to squeeze into a little vertical framing. So it means that we'll have to upload, Amy, a different version onto YouTube, won't we? We'll have to get the Instagram version. Otherwise, we'll have everybody sitting at home on YouTube like this, getting a crick in the neck. I'm really sorry. Apologies. Where's my team? Where's the crew, really? Just can't get the help, can you? Just got to do it yourself, and then what happens? Very sorry. But I will answer some questions, okay, now that I'm the right way round. So Nikki, yes, you can freeze juice. Hope you saw that. This is from Mabel on Facebook. Mabel, thank you for sticking with me, being the wrong way round. I hope I'm all right for you now. Is a blender all right for juicing instead of a juicer? I believe it would come out more like a smoothie, which I guess would be okay. I love the Healthy Juice Company, but want to be doing my own as well. Yes, absolutely. A blender, you're absolutely right. It blends all the fibre in, and that actually is a good thing. So if you are happy with that consistency, and of course you could always blend it really well and then put it through a strainer or a sieve if you wanted, just to get the actual juice bit out of it. So it's up to you whether you want a smoothie or whether you actually want to drink a juice. So, but yes, you can of course. This is from Aileen on Instagram, who says, I've been on Estrogel for almost 6 years now. Love it, except I'm very unwell with anxiety at the moment, which is quite honestly ruling my life. Okay, you go on to answer something else, so I'm just going to talk about anxiety very quickly. Estrogel, so Aileen, do make sure that you are on Estrogel and you don't have something that's over-labelled. So you don't have Estradose. Just check that, yeah? Sometimes Estrogel, it comes in a box that says Estrogel, has a sticker on it that says Estrogel, but when you peel that off, you find Estradose underneath. And there's a lot of hoo-ha about this. We've written about it on Liz Earle Wellbeing website, so you can read up on it. There's also a fact sheet on menopausedoctor.co.uk. Many women have reported that Estradose doesn't work as well as Estrogel, and that their symptoms of anxiety were heightened since using it. So it may be Estradose, unfortunately, seems to have been put into the general pharmacy system a lot more this year. It's a parallel import, PI, and that's cheaper for pharmacies, but actually many people have reported issues with it. So it's worth checking that to start with, because it may be that your anxiety levels are high because your Estrogel or Estradose isn't working as well as it should. Let's assume that you've got the right Estrogel. You may need to change the dose, because many women find that their hormones change and that actually you need more. Getting older, I certainly need a bit more than I did when I first started with. I use about 5 pumps a night now, the Estrogel. When I started on 2. My main issue is insomnia and sleeping, and I find I don't sleep properly, soundly, unless I get a high level of estrogen, whether that's from gels or patches or sprays or whatever. The third thing to point out is some women don't absorb it very well through the skin. So it can be an absorption issue. And nobody quite knows why, but for some women they're better off with the tablets. So lots of variables, unfortunately. There's no one thing that I can say magically, wave a wand and this is going to work. HRT is very often trial and error. We're all different. We're all different beings, and our hormones are all different, and the way we react to hormones is different. So it can often just be a question of adjusting and seeing what works best for you to alleviate your symptoms. Talking about anxiety, I know many people here, and I'm sure there'll be a bit of chat about this on both platforms, is the saffron extract, saffrosun. So saffrosun has been clinically shown to help improve anxiety and low mood. Clinical trials, and we're talking randomised controlled trials, have shown that it can be as effective in some cases as some antidepressants. There's a lot on the Naked Pharmacy website about that. It was developed by a pharmacist, clinical pharmacist, who used to work in the pharmaceutical industry. So he knows very well all about trials and efficacy of drugs, etc. So saffrosun is something that I take every morning. It's from Naked Pharmacy. There is a 20% offer. You just have to use Liz Loves 20. So it's a slightly different code for Naked Pharmacy, Liz Loves 20. And that gives you 20% off everything on Naked Pharmacy. And personally, I'm using at the moment their saffrosun. I'm also using their marine magnesium, which I think is excellent. And that's also really good for sleep and anxiety. So that's something else you might like to consider, Aileen. And their vitamin D as well, which I think we should all be taking. Vitamin D, making sure that we get high levels of vitamin D. One of the big issues about lockdown, about staying indoors, is that we don't get outside and maximise our vitamin D levels. And many studies are showing that if you have high levels of vitamin D, you're better protected from the more severe symptoms and outcomes of COVID. So really interesting stuff. However, Aileen, that was not your main question, was it? You actually said, talking about HRT, the HRT leaflet mentions we shouldn't use any shower gels or soaps with sodium lauryl sulfates. I tend not to use them anyway, but I've been given some gifts with the product in. I'd love to know how much attention people give to this recommendation not to use products with this stuff in. Is it actually imperative? Well, I have not seen any data to show that it's imperative. The issue with sodium lauryl sulfate, and why personally I tend to avoid it, is not because it's particularly dangerous or is going to interact with medication, but because it can cause skin sensitivity and it can dry the skin. And if you're prone or have any kind of atopic condition, atopic eczema, for example, it can make it worse. So for me and my family, I would always choose hand washes and bubble baths and things that don't have sodium lauryl sulfate in, the same with shampoo. But, if you've been given some lovely, scenty, smelly products to use in the shower or the bath, and you want to use them occasionally, that's absolutely fine. It's not going to damage your HRT. I wonder, I have not personally seen that in a leaflet. I wonder if that was in regulating, was that in the estrogel? I must take a little look at my leaflet. It's extraordinary. We know that a lot of what's written in that leaflet is actually unfortunately not accurate, because it writes about how the gel shouldn't be used with people with migraine or DVT, thrombosis risk, and of course that's not the case. It is fine. That's the case for tablets, not the gel, but they just write blanketly all of this stuff in the leaflets, even though it doesn't apply to gels or patches. And as many of you know, I'm working behind the scenes with other medics. I'm not a medic, I'm just a communicator, but I like to communicate and communicate accurately. And so there are a group of us who are working with, hopefully working with, certainly in discussions with, shall we say, the MHRA, who are the regulatory body who put all these leaflets together, to say, come on guys, you need to update these leaflets because they're not accurate. So thank you very much for raising that. I will certainly take a look, but I personally wouldn't worry too much about that. And if you've got lovely things to enjoy in the bath, then I would enjoy them. Talking of lovely things, before I go, to enjoy, seaweed is something that I've talked about before, really lovely on the skin. It's very soothing. If you've got skin issues, it can be really helpful for some people. And this is a lovely British brand I've talked about before. It's called Ishka. Comes from the Outer Hebrides, from some of the cleanest waters. And they use natural seaweed in this. And this is their sanitizer. 75% neat alcohol, so really good at the moment. You can use this on surfaces. So do you see how fine it is? Or you can, use it spraying it on your hands, or if you want to use something for your hands, they have this one. Smells great, actually. It smells of sort of ozonic. It's just taken me back to being by the seaside. And this is something that you can use and carry about with you. And I love it because it's not drying. It smells really nice. Oh, great. Really pleasant to use. And it's an organic standard. It's got emollient ingredients in there as well. So, yeah, really nice. I can't actually see. Tiny, tiny little print. But again, 78% alcohol on that, so it's really going to do the job at killing germs. Ishka, we do have a Liz Loves as well. It's ongoing, and I can check and just tell you what it is. Ishka.com, that's Liz Loves in capitals, and that gets you 15% off your first order. So if you've not ordered with Ishka before, then I think these, particularly for the moment, could be very useful. So that is just about it for today. Huge apologies for messing up my rotation. I hope you'll forgive me. I promise to get it right in future. I promise to try and get it right. I'll be back with you on Wednesday. So Kerry September, all being well, will be with me live, and we'll see what we can do, what secrets we can share. So if you've anything that you'd like us to talk about or share, please pop it in the comments. Facebook, easy to pop on the comments. Instagram, please don't send me direct messages because I can't cope with direct message, but I do look at my comments. Just to say, yearbook 2s, I do still have these here at the farm, so if you haven't yet got your copy, do grab one. I sign them all, I take them to the post office. It's a very personal thing, and this is the only way you can get yearbook 2. It's not on Amazon, it's not on any shops, it's something that we do here directly as a team. And I was just looking through actually some of the lovely autumn recipes, and I think I will be cooking over the coming weeks some of these things. Fig and bay tart, butternut squash, chard and sweet corn stew, that looks delicious. That's a really great whole series of dips, lots of pickles, artichokes and olive oil. Oh my goodness, lots and lots and lots of things. Anyway, I leave you with that thought. We have about half a dozen subscription gifts left. Really, I mean, we may even not have them, but if you've not subscribed and you'd like to get your Angela Langford eye oil free, please grab it, because that will probably be the last time I mention it. That's it, I think. Thank you for your company. It's been really nice to start the week on such a positive way. Let me know if you go juicing. Let me know what blends you do. I'm going to be living on this, I think, this week. And of course my balance drops. Lots of balance drops needed for stress. It's going to be a busy week, an interesting week, but hopefully lots of lovely things to share. Direct, I'll be here on Wednesday and again on Friday for a roundup of the week. So until then, go well, have a lovely day, great start to the week. Sending everyone lots of love. Bye-bye.